Hello, my dear friends. I'm CA Sandeep Bogra, a life and relationship coach certified under Tony Robbins. And I'm super excited to welcome all of you on CA Sansaar YouTube platform, where I'm blessed and honored to share with you the three pillars of growth in our life. My dear friends, once upon a time, I was interacting with a couple of people and I asked them three simple questions. Number one, how many of you want to be successful in life? Of course, their obvious answer was yes, we want to be successful. I moved on and asked them yet another question. My second question was, how many of you will try to be successful in life? And everyone raised their hands in affirmation that yes, we will try our best to be successful in life. Well, my third and the most important question was, how many of you believe that you will be successful in life? Undoubtedly, everyone raised their hands again, but I told them, staring in their face, that you're lying. Confused? Wondering why am I saying so? Well, my dear friends, trying never works in life. Trying means failure. Trying is an excuse for not really putting in the best of our efforts. Yes, my dear friends, Lord Krishna, upon delivering his message to Arjuna on the battlefield of Mahabharat, said, Hey Arjun, hey Parth, कर्म कर, फल की इच्छा मत कर. Lord Krishna never said, कर्म करने की कोशिश कर. And yes, my dear friends, this is one important key message I want to instill in each one of your minds for now and forever, for the rest of your life, that either you do something in life or you don't, because trying never works. And even when people understand and realize this important aspect of growth, they still remain stuck in life. Do you really want to know why? Well, I get reminded of the story of two falcon birds. Once upon a time, there was a king in the Arab world, and he was a very benevolent king, very kind and caring towards his public, towards the animals in his kingdom, and he was very loving and showered upon everyone his riches, his wealth, and he literally took care of everybody. Looking at his generosity, one fine day, a businessman turned up in his kingdom and gifted that king two falcon birds. Now, these were very two beautiful birds who had the capacity to fly high in the sky and touch the horizon. Now, the king was really so glad to have this wonderful gift and ordered his master trainer to teach these birds how to fly high and take the best of care of them. He gave this master trainer a time period of 10 days, and after 10 days, he went on to approach the trainer and asked him to show these two falcon birds how well they could fly high in the sky. To his surprise, one of the falcon birds flew very high in the sky, touched the horizon, took a U-turn, and came back to its own place. However, the other falcon bird still remained perched on the bark of the tree. The other bird was still stuck and sitting still on that branch of the tree from day one itself. The king called upon the trainer and asked, Mr. Trainer, what exactly is the challenge out here? Why is this other bird not really moving an inch while the first one flew high in the sky? What's the challenge? What's the dilemma? The trainer apologetically confessed to the king, Your Highness, Your Majesty, I have been trying my best. I have been putting in all my efforts to shift this bird, to move this bird an inch, but I have failed. I apologize. I beg your pardon. The king was nevertheless benevolent, kind enough. He didn't really punish the trainer, but the very next day, he made an announcement that out of his entire kingdom, if there is any one person who could come and make this bird fly, he would gift him a kilogram of pure gold. Now, while everyone in the kingdom was so interested and kind of greedy to get that pot of gold, still everyone was afraid to risk their life. What if they were unable to move the bird? The king might get angry. Yet, a very old, fine gentleman turned up in front of the king and said, Your Highness, Your Majesty, I'll be happy to take this challenge and ensure within the next 24 hours you will see both of these birds flying high in the sky. While the entire set of ministers in the kingdom had a laughter, wondering how this pale old man could make this happen, yet the king wanted to give them a chance. And the old gentleman went away and came over the next morning, reached out to the king, and asked him to just look out of his window. When the king looked out of his window, to his aghast, he saw both the falcon birds flying high in the sky, touching the horizon, coming back and getting perched on the window next to the king. The king has no limit of his happiness. He was really elated and gifted a pot of gold to this old gentleman, but asked him one simple question. He said, What is it really that's so magical you did and turned this entire scenario overnight? Something the master trainer in my kingdom couldn't achieve in the last 10 days. And the old gentleman simply said, Your Highness, Your Majesty, I simply cut off that branch of tree where this bird was resting. And eventually, this bird had no other option but to fly high in the sky. So, my dear friends, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, let me ask you a simple question. What is it exactly that this gentleman did that made this bird move and fly while it was stagnant for over 10 days? The answer is he moved the bird out of its comfort zone. Yes, that is the first pillar of growth. I want to share with you that all progress in your life takes place outside the comfort zone. So, what is this comfort zone all about? Let's look into detail. Comfort zone is nothing but your own safe environment, your den, your habitat, your territory where you feel very safe. You feel the situation is under your control and you feel you can take charge of your life. As my mentor Tony Robbins says, that every human being experiences six basic human needs always. And the first and the foremost is certainty, the willingness to stay in your comfort zone, to be certain about what you are pursuing. Unfortunately, as long as you stay in your comfort zone, as long as you feel safe and control of your environment, you are unable to grow. As we realized, the actual growth happens outside of your comfort zone, but there are two another layers in between your comfort area and the place where you ultimately usher, you thrive, you grow with your skill set, and you evolve. Now, what really stops us from heading out of our comfort zone is the fear. And the fear of not really shifting ourselves, not really making that movement of a millimeter every day, comes from two different areas: inner self and the outer world. While the inner self is primarily around the lack of self confidence in us, and our mind is so attuned to find million excuses, million reasons, million ways to stop us, to keep us safeguarded in our comfort zone, because we live in a space of fear. And what adds to that fear zone the most is the opinions and the ideas of the outside world. Our friends, our families, our relatives, known and unknown people, whatever they think about us, especially when we are planning and starting to do something new apart from what we have always been doing. But I'll tell you something very exciting, my dear friends. What we believe as an opinion of others as to what they will think about us is actually irrelevant. It doesn't really matter what they think about us, because the reality is far away from perception we carry about ourselves or what others believe about us. And how do we realize this? When we step into the learning zone. So, my dear friends, we really need to start working on acquiring new skills, extending ourselves out of our comfort zone, making that millimeter shift every day. As they say, if you make 0.1% of progress every day over an year, you will have already grown by 33%. And when you reach the ultimate zone of growth in your life, it is when you're able to live your dreams, find your purpose, set your new goals, and eventually conquer the world. Sounds interesting, isn't it? But I know what you might be thinking, and that is how to step out of your comfort zone. My dear friends, I'm a strategist and I believe in action, because knowledge is useless until you put into action, until you start taking certain steps to convert your dreams into reality. And same goes with understanding your comfort zone and eventually stepping out of it. So, how do we do it? Well, it's very simple. The first thing, simplify the first step. You know what? Every change is difficult in the start, messy in the middle, yet glorious in the end. But what you really need to begin with is to simplify your very first step. A newborn child doesn't start running on day one. He crawls, makes a balance on its own feet, takes a baby step ahead, and eventually walks his life. So, when you're simplifying your first step, simultaneously, you need to aim for smaller goals, bite sized pieces when you begin. Because when you look at the Mount Everest, it seems like a daunting task to climb uphill. But if you just focus on the next few hundred meters, and when you reach that spot and you just focus on another 100 meters, in no time you will realize you have reached the summit and you have got the world under your feet. So, to make it more easy, you really need to identify what is still holding you back, what is the source of your comfort zone, what is it that's not really stepping you out. Because when you realize what is holding you back and what is the best thing you can do with the least effort, you can easily start with what you are comfortable first. My dear friends, working as a coach with people, as a consultant in the corporate world, and with students and everyone around, I have realized something very realistic, very pragmatic, which can create a huge impact in everyone's life is to get an accountability partner. Whenever you are accountable to somebody, you have a responsibility to be answerable, to do your part, and to have a check and balance at every stage if you're heading in the right direction. And why not let's treat ourselves as a child whom we always tend to gift something, maybe a chocolate or an appreciation when they achieve their goals, they complete their homework, they do their exercise. Same thing we need to start doing in our life. So the cookie jar method describes about anything which makes you feel happy, you can reward yourself with it whenever you take the next uncomfortable action. And I know one of the very uncomfortable actions we really struggle to take every day in our life is getting up early morning. So, the point number 7, I want to suggest to you the 5-second rule I learned from my father, how it becomes very easy to get up and step out of your bed every day. The 5-second rule says the moment your alarm goes off, just quickly count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and step up. Just pull off your blanket or your sheet and just sit. That instant jerk to your body, that instant shift in your physiology will instantly break you out of your comfort zone, break you out of your sleep, and make it very easy for you to get started and get going. Guys, own your mornings. Robin Sharma says, join the 5 a.m. club. Now, I'm not suggesting you to really get up at 5. It's okay, whatever time suits you, as long as it's before sunrise, because that is the best time when you can plan your day, break it into chunks, and make it easy to achieve whatever you aim during the day. Easier said than done, isn't it? So, my dear friends, why not let's do one more thing to step out of our comfort zone and build on our first pillar of growth. Let's beat our fear. And how do we beat our fear? Is by looking into its eyes and facing it head on. So, what I suggest is when you're planning something in your life, and as CAs, we always work with corporates on doing a sensitivity analysis as to what is the best possible growth scenario and what are the challenges or what are the possibilities when things may not really shape up as planned. Similarly, in our life, why not let's do a worst case scenario understanding that what if something like this happens? How are we best readily available to address the situation, beat it, overcome, and still meet our goals? Yes, I have been able to do it because I always follow these 10 points, out of which the most important thing I really want to suggest to each one of you is to avoid overthinking. You must do what others won't, commit, and stay the course. Challenges will come, problems will be there, but then we are human beings. We have the potential, we have the ability, we have the caliber to overcome every such negative or difficult scenarios. All we need is willingness and commitment. Lots of stuff to understand, analyze, implement, and continue on our journey to progress. But how do we really do it? Well, we do it with the pillar number two, mindset. My dear friends, we really need an abundant mindset with no limits. When the world says you cannot, it's up to you what you really want to pay attention to. Because even your human mind never really understands a negative command. What if I just asked you not to think about an apple? I'm sure every one of you might have recalled an apple instantly in your mind. Now, it may be the apple as a fruit, or it may be a picture of an apple, or maybe an Apple iPhone. But your mind didn't really pay attention to the negative command not to think. So, what I really want to suggest to you is create your abundant mindset without any limits by thinking positively, by focusing on something which really makes sense to you. Look at the big picture. Let's do a reverse engineering in life whenever we plan to achieve something. When my friends and students turn up to understand how to pursue for exams or a business, I always ask them to look at the big picture, the end result. What is the ultimate objective they are looking to achieve? And then do a reverse calculation, a reverse engineering. Where do they stand and what all they need to do to bridge that gap? And you will be able to bridge that gap when you take the ownership for your success. Yes, my dear friends, we always tend to blame others, our environment, people around us, but ultimately, the success and failure lies in our hands. It's all about our habits, our willingness, our creativity, and our mindset about the impact we want to create in our life. So why not let's have a positive mind, enjoying a positive vibe, and eventually creating a positive life. And life is all about, as many people believe, a rat race. You set your goals, you fuel your fire, you reach your destination, and boom, COVID happens. COVID happens and everything gets stuck, and we reach in a state of chaos where everywhere, everyone around is talking about nothing but negativity. The rising number of cases, the number of fatalities, the challenges, the lack of government in handling the situation. But what is really important is to focus on the good. My dear friend, good and bad, beautiful and ugly, negative and positive always goes hand in hand. As my mentor Tony Robbins says, where focus goes, energy flows. And similarly, what's really important for us in the middle of chaos, during a challenging situation in our life, during our exam, during an upheaval in our business, or a disturbed relationship, we just need to focus on the good, because attitude is everything. And this reminds me of one of my friends who was also pursuing CA along with me, and he was always struggling in his life to move to the next level. While we started our foundation journey together, he had certain hiccups on his way to clear the CA Inter. Luckily, I was always behind his back to motivate him, to push him, to guide him, and address his challenges so he could also spearhead in his life. But when he reached the next stage, he wasn't really happy. He was still wondering how is he going to make towards the CA finals and ultimately become a CA. I pushed him more. I made him realize what's really important, how to work and plan out his studies. Luckily, he became a CA. A great euphoria moment, a time of celebration and achievement for everyone who's reached it. But this guy was still not happy. He was still struggling and worried about his future, about getting a job. Luck struck. He got successful in his third interview, banked upon a very good pay package in one of an MNCs. Again, a moment of celebration, and yet he was still not happy. Because now he was wondering how is he going to scale up, how is he going to reach greater heights, and how is he going to do the next thing. He wanted to move out of the country. Well, my dear friends, this guy is right now in Canada, and unfortunately, he is still not happy. And if you really want to know what exactly he's suffering from, what is really missing in his life, well, that is gratitude. While gratitude is the best attitude, the challenge is we fail to implement in our life. Irrespective of whatever best we achieve, how far or better we have outgrown of ourselves in comparison to where we were yesterday, we are still not grateful. We are still not happy. We are still not abundant. We are still living in a state of fear, grief, stress. But if you build upon this third pillar of growth in your life, start being grateful to your parents, to your family, to your friends, to the Almighty or the forces of nature you believe in. Be grateful for whatever you have achieved, for whatever you are today, because where you are right now, there's a major portion of this world who aspires to live the kind of life you are living. So let's be grateful to everyone because that really helps us to build our relationships, to grow and foster them, to develop that deeper understanding and connectivity with our loved ones. The feeling of gratitude really keeps you happy, it keeps you upbeat, and it definitely helps you stay out of stress. Yes, my dear friends, gratitude is the best thing you can do for yourself, for a healthy living, and for a happy life. But the catch is, we really need to know how to say thank you. It's not merely a combination of few letters, but the real thank you needs to come out of a heart. So, whenever you are really grateful, you say it, you feel it, and in every possible scenario, you do it. Live with this feeling of gratitude because that will really help you reset your mindset. And as we started this journey of understanding the three pillars of growth, I just want to quickly give a recap what can set you from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. The idea is to look at every failure as an opportunity to grow, to believe in yourself and stop giving attention to what others think about you. Because ultimately, it's your effort, your attitude, your willingness that will decide your future success. My dear friends, thank you very much. It was a great time spent with you. And once again, I really want to appreciate and express my gratitude to CA Sansaar for providing me this opportunity to connect with each one of you and getting started on our journey to growth and prosperity in life. And I'm sure you are ready. And whenever in doubt, just ask yourself, are you ready? And I'm sure your heart, your mind, your soul will give you that affirmation that yes, I can, I will make a difference in my life and touch and transform everyone's life for the better. Thank you so much. Bye bye.